Spiritually, you know what happens? You and I, before we know Christ, or if we're living outside the will of God, we are not just in the dark, but we're part of the darkness. We were part, that's what he says, you were part of the darkness. We get disoriented, which I had in that room. We get deceived by things in the darkness about life situations. Then we start what I call stinking thinking. Come on, go back with me. 1977, Debbie Boone. 1997, Leanne Rimes. You Light Up My Life. How many of you know that song? You Light Up My Life. One of the dumbest sentences you can have there, because it's stinking thinking, it's in the darkness, is this: it can't be wrong if it feels so right. You light up my life. Friends, that is baloney. Because that is stinking thinking, that's thinking in the dark. I remember being a 7th grader. I was at a sports event, high school guys, and one guy made this philosophical statement: if it feels good, do it. That's what he was living by. Oh my goodness. That is, come on, stinking thinking. And that's living in the dark. We also, at times, stinking thinking says, well, it's not such a big deal. Or nobody will get hurt. Or we say things like, you know what, they got what they deserve. You know, when I said and lashed out and I did, and so we have this darkness thinking, and we're part of the darkness. How many of you have ever done this? You've awakened at night, and you look over on the floor, and you go, what is that? Some of you are laughing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you'd have just put your clothing in the hamper, you wouldn't have been freaked out by that. How many of you know what I'm talking about? You look and you go, whew. See, because we get disoriented, we don't recognize. Or we get hurt. You know what? Since being a grandfather, I didn't know that Legos were such a weapon. How many of you have ever turned your ankles, just hurt your feet, stepping on a Lego? And see, but we don't see it. We're in the dark. How much more the spiritual darkness and the consequences of our spiritual darkness, where there's hurt and there's damage, there's heartache, there's disgrace, there's bitterness, there's lost blessing. And how many of you have said, and I want you to raise your hand, how many of you have hurt you hit your head, you hit your toe, you hit your, whatever it was, and you thought, I should have just turned the light on. How many have ever done that, huh? I should have just turned the light on. And sometimes we try to be nice. We try to be nice to our family so we don't turn the lights on. We don't want to wake them up, or we don't want that bright light. And then we get to school and we look down and we have 2 different color socks on. Any of you ever do that? See, that's what's sort of cool about this generation of young people. They don't care if their socks match or not. They just grab 2. Kids, I'm not lying, am I? Just grab 2. Just grab 2. It's okay. But I was trumped as the teacher with 2 different color socks. I got trumped one day by the principal. This principal had the same style shoes, but they were comfortable, and she really liked them and all. So she had a black pair and a blue pair. You know where this is going, don't you? And so she comes to school, and she comes and laughs about it and all that. And she goes, look at that. And she had one black, one blue. Why? Because she was in the dark. How much more dangerous to live in the spiritual darkness. And that's why Jesus says to Paul, man, you got to turn them from darkness to light.